Hey everybody, Rhadamant here. Thanks for tuning in to this one-off special episode of Rhadamant Plays Stationeers Venus. But rather than playing on Twitch, I am playing just for YouTube. This series is to show that playing Venus on the new settings, where it is constantly hot and constantly pressurized, is totally possible. So I'm also going to be playing on the Stationeers difficulty, which means I can't eat or drink with my visor down or my helmet on. And I want to demonstrate the way to survive in such hostile settings. So the very first thing I'm going to want to do is to find a nice flat-ish spot to set up my initial structure. The initial structure, might I add, is going to be heinously ugly. It's just the bare minimum so that you don't die your first day on Venus. I'm going to be using frame, windows, and walls, and everything frames. And the reason for this is because of pressure requirements. Venus is a very pressurized environment, and iron walls will blow out on you and get you killed. So, no iron walls anywhere. And some of those frames were subterranean, but they were where I wanted them. All right, so now let's start freeing up inventory. The next thing is steel sheets, and I am going to absolutely destroy this welder's power. We're going to be welding pretty much everything you see fully. Everything that comes in contact with the inside of the base, fully welded. And we're going to go through a few batteries here, so I'm going to have to kill this battery. And there it goes, it's dead. And grab another battery. Now, I'm going to be grabbing the small batteries, because I want to leave the large battery for later. You'll see why and when I use it. But needless to say, it will help if you leave the large battery alone. So, aesthetically, this base is hideous. But it's just what is going to be required of you when you're starting off. So the next thing I want to do is to set up an arc furnace. And I'm going to set it up here. No, it's not really in the nicest spot, but it doesn't matter. We are in a race against time. We're not trying to make things look nice. I want about 10 copper, no more. I don't have time to get more, so that's exactly 10. I'm going to want about 35 iron and 2 gold. That's it. Don't spend more time mining. You don't have it. You will die. 100% you will die if you dilly-daddle at all. This is the, or at least my design of a bare minimum setup for survival. So there is 38 iron. That's going to be enough. And pop around for some gold. Here it is. We only need 2. Done. My first mine was just 2. All right, now get on back to your base. Grab the large battery. Grab the grab an APC. I only want 1 APC, so I'm gonna split it, put the other one away, and I'm gonna set area power controller right here. And yes, if you're like, hey, that's an ugly spot, I don't care. I'm trying to survive. If you want to try to make things look pretty, you can enjoy dying in the process of making it look pretty as much as you want. It's not something I want to do. So this here, I'm actually going to turn around so it's a shorter cable run, so that the power port faces the APC. And now let's start smelting. So first things first, the iron. And while that's smelting, let's take this out of my inventory. Let's go ahead and set up the auto lathe. That is the next step of this survival process. So I'm going to stick an auto lathe. Let's put it here. And let's make it. And here comes the sun. It's rising up. As you can see, the game doesn't give you a lot of time. Not that it really matters, because the day and the night are the same temperature on this current setting. So sun or no sun, you're still exposed to unbelievably hot temperatures and pressures, high pressures and high temperatures. So yeah, obviously it doesn't really matter. All right, iron's done. There it is. Okay, I don't want to stop my my smelter, so I'm going to run the wire.
Waste tank. Caution.
I'm going to run the wire over, but I'm not going to patch it in so that my my arc furnace could finish arc furnacing. And that waste tank caution, yeah, I mean, it's a problem, but it's a problem that we're aiming to solve quickly. So there is my copper, and now the gold. Once the arc furnace is done, just turn it off. The waste tank caution, just flip your air tanks and waste tanks around for now. That's the way to do it.
Waste tank. Caution.
Let's see. We also have time to get maybe a little bit of a solar panel. So let's get this solar panel set up here, there, and put the glass away. Arc furnace is done with the gold. Stick that in. Patch the cables into the APC. This turns on, and make a pipe bender. Done. All right, now that pipe bender is going to take a while. So what we're going to do while we wait is to set up the rest of everything. So let's get active vents and doors. Go to your airlocky location and set up composite doors. For that, you're going to need to, again, weld some first plastic sheets. Oh, I meant to grab my plastic sheets. And then crowbar the glass in. Let me put the rest of the plastic inside. Done. All right. Now we're going to want to put active vents. These active vents are going to serve as a way to vacate air more quickly. Eventually, they could be used to set up airlocks, but initially, we aren't going to really even airlock. We are just trying to not die. So set it up like this, one little corner, and again, one little corner like that. Great. Put the pipes away. Let's hook up while we wait for the well,
Waste tank. Critical. Temperature high. Temperature.
while we wait for everything to print up.
High.
I believe I'm going to have enough cables to hook up the solar panel, and I put the solar panel way up top so that it would not be blocked by any of the building here. There we go. So now this battery should be charging. It is charging now. Yep. Done. This one, I'll stick out here. All right, hydraulic pipe bender is 62%. And it's going to go over in this location. What I could do for now, just aesthetically, is to flatten it out a little bit. I can even set this to set flatten, to flatten the zone rather than to mine or dig, and it will flatten it out so that we can visually see where I'm working.
Waste tank. Caution.
There we go. That's enough. Doesn't need to be perfect. I didn't turn that off. There. All right. Then I'm going to lay out the cabling for how this is going to be cabled. So it's going to be cabled like this. But I'm not going to cut into the network until it's done printing, or otherwise it will cancel the progress and I will die. Everything results in I will die, right? No room for mistakes, or you die. Then I also am going to want to, oh, there it is. Cable it up, and let's make this pipe bender. So, the iron sheets with the welder, cable coils, plastic sheets welder, which, did I put my plastic, where my plastic, yeah, here they are. Plastic sheets welder, screwdriver, grab all that iron, left over. And stick it in. And passive vents. 2 passive vents. You also could do one, for now, you could do, well, it doesn't really matter, but I was going to say, for now, you could also do a, one canister
Waste tank.
as a spare waste tank.
Temperature high. Temperature
Uh,
critical.
gas canister.
Hydration critical.
Alright, so my hydration is now heading into the critical range. Don't worry, I have a plan for that. Alright, so now we have this spare waste tank, which I'm going to stick in as my waste tank, and then this spare gas can is going in there.
Temperature
The
high.
additional gas, the gas canister that I'm now using as a waste tank allows my suit to cool down a little bit. All right, next step is to grab your ox tank, or throw it to Mercury. Glad it doesn't take a lot of impact damage. Grab your ox tank and walk it backwards, because walking backwards through an airlock is easier than forwards. Walk it backwards into your little hovel. All right. Next up, we want a little bit of power to these doors. I don't care about data ports. Not yet. Data ports don't matter. Not at all. All right. I'm also going to want to plug these bad boys in. And as you can hear, my guy is starting to suffer as a result of dehydration. Don't worry, it's not an instant death or anything like that. It's just warning us that we are running soon out of time. All right, let's have these cables go out. This, and as you can see, I barely have any cables spare. Right? This is why we are not worrying about data ports or anything like that. Close the door, set inwards, and vent. Now, it is going to vacuum seal this room. We don't need it perfectly vacuum sealed, but what I would advise is to get out your Atmo analyzer in a tablet and check for when all of the X is gone. It's really just the X we're trying to get rid of. The CO2 and the N2 is honestly fine. They're not temperate, obviously. It's like 400 degrees, but it's more the X that you want to get rid of. But bringing the pressure down to near zero is going to be helpful as well, for temperature reasons, because the oxygen in this tank is 20 degrees Celsius, and the room is 400 degrees Celsius. I think you can see where I'm going with this. And then in the spare tank here, we do have mostly oxygen, but it's hot, right? All right, so we are going to let this vacuum out. And one of the reasons why we are using steel or iron frames, not walls, is the iron walls would not hold up against the pressure. They would blow. But the iron frames can hold up against the pressure. They will not blow. And composite doors are tougher than glass windowed doors, which is why we set it up the way we did. Okay. I'm patient, so I can wait for it to be done. I know I'm dehydrating, but it's as you can see in my vitals down here, it's taken a while to have its toll. It's not an immediate death or anything like that. All right, so that's good enough. Off. Now, let's increase the gas pressure in the room. And also my waste tank here. I'm going to open the canister, and that's going to help quickly pressurize the room. Now this old waste tank here can be cycled back into my suit.
Critical.
This can be my waste tank for my suit again. And at this point,
Temperature critical.
I have my helmet off. I mean, I'm not comfortable, but my helmet is off. It's very close to boiling in this room, but I'm alive. And ultimately, that's what matters, right? Let's put the helmet back on.
Temperature
I have now
high.
consumed water. I can increase the pressure in here up a bit. Keep in mind that for all the oxygen that you let into this room, you are going to need to make sure that it never leaks out to Venus. So this room is mostly oxygen. It's becoming more temperate. And this here is going to be your respawn point and your survival point. Now, it doesn't really matter if you are... it doesn't really matter if you are outside during the day or at night, because it's the same temperature and pressure night or day. All right, so that's probably enough pressure. So I'm going to lower this gas tank output, keeping some of the oxygen in there. But this room is now, it's uncomfortably warm, but it is survivable. And that therein lies the point. This is the initial survival base. And then when you want to go outside, what you need to do is need to close this here and then vent out all of, and this is a manual airlock until we have it automated. Vent out all the air, the precious oxygen until this hits 0, right? And then turn it off. And if you don't mind the blast of air flooding into from Venus, there we go. We have now have a sort of survival base. And at this point, what you'd be doing is setting up, you know, an ice crusher to get more oxygen and water. You could set up additional mining. You could set up solar automation. But this here is a way to survive on the extraordinarily hot temperatures of Venus with Stationeers difficulty and hydration and food at normal settings. And that way, it's harder, yes, but it is survivable. It just requires you to have a game plan and a build design that you can rapidly execute. And then if you want to go back inside, you have to vent out all of the Venus air until, of course, you have enough cables to make an automatic airlock. Now, you do start off with a console and an automatic airlock stuff. It's just I worried about the amount of cables I had, and as of course I was right, I only have 3 cables left. So at the very beginning, what you want to do is just a manual airlock like this. It's going to be a little cheaper. So now this is vacuum. I don't really care about pressurizing. And if I wanted to, just as demonstration, it is cool enough in this room for me to take my suit off, my helmet off, my backpack off if I really wanted to. I mean, I know you can't really see me, but as you can see, I'm essentially naked. And this gives me the proper respawn point. And a place to run, you know, in case anything goes wrong, a place to run where, you know, I can survive. And I can even unlock the helmet and open it up, right? And turn off my suit and my filters and all that. And while I'm inside, just breathe the air. And yes, what will end up happening is the CO2 amounts will slowly climb up, but it would take many Venus days for the CO2 to ever get to a level where it would endanger you. Well, there you have it. About a 20-minute super sped up tutorial of how to do the initial survival on Venus. I didn't include any of the other features like water filtration, adding air to the tank, solar tracking or anything like that, because there are separate tutorials for that you can follow at this point along with the Twitch series that I've got going on. This just gives you some sort of idea of how to survive even on the hardest difficulties on one of the hardest planets. And without much effort, you know. You might have to practice setting up a temporary shelter like this a few times, but it's not rocket science. It's relatively pretty easy. I hope this has helped you all. And if it interests you, I stream Stationeers on Twitch every Wednesday. For my schedule, go to Rhadamant.com. It will be in the description. Thank you all for watching. I hope to catch you in a live stream or in the comments on YouTube when the live stream airs on YouTube on the weekends. Farewell.